let's do it live on a Monday edition. Merely Bo, the Great Z. The Gray.
Well, I see you're appropriately dressed for the gray.
I am, yeah. It's camo.
I have the gray pants on, so.
We're inverted.
Yeah, we are inverted.
Yeah.
It's nice.
Yeah.
It's good.
Yesterday we were over in your neck of the woods, and we had some youth basketball in the morning, and then had some business I had to do over on the east side, and before we were headed home, and we were at the Whole Foods, and we were walking in, and it was like right around 1 o'clock, and it was that snowy, slush, windy grossness that was happening. Where it was like a rainy, it was like everything was coming this way diagonally at you. Half of it was snow, some was slush, and some was rain. Like it was all of it really, the full moisture spectrum. And I said to Beamsy, I said, "What do you think of this, dude? What do you think of this weather? I want to go to California right now."
Yeah.
Same, brother.
I mean,
Same.
I feel like you've never had more momentum.
It's probably true.
If you were trying to extricate yourself from this situation as somebody who, with your necessary means,
they're behind. The boys are behind it. They're in.
No,
but then I would lose you. I can't do that.
We could listen. We could do it. You could be anywhere and do.
Look
this
at little
radio show
Uno's
with
little
me.
face. How could I leave him?
Listen, I'm not going to
so
talk
happy.
you out of it because you've been
so happy.
Write this
So
all
happy.
down. This is
So
he's really
Emotionally
sticking it out.
second guessing all of it.
Yeah.
How you doing? Did you have a nice weekend?
Great weekend. Yeah, it was awesome. Got a lot of stuff done around the house, a little spring cleaning, and then got to settle in. I would have enjoyed one game each day.
Same.
For sure.
Same. I think that's
for sure.
I'm appreciative that they're playing them at 6:30. They're done at 10. That's fantastic. They've done that the whole playoffs, which has been a huge win to have these 6:30 kicks.
And wild card weekend absolutely needs to be 2 Saturday, 2 Sunday, 2 Monday.
Yeah, what they'll have to do is make sure the Monday one they're gonna have to make sure it's either dome or warm weather, so that because otherwise you run into what happened in Buffalo.
Yeah, nobody wants that.
And you don't want that. But no, I think the 2-2-2 works on the wild card. I think this 3-6:30 works when you have to, and I do think that if you were doing if you were doing this right, you play a game at 6:30 on Saturday, you play a game at 6:30 on Sunday. I think that's the sweet spot. It was a lot of football. I mean, you're 7 hours. You're kind of locked
and it's
in.
intense. It's easier
really
to give
intense.
one game like your full attention for 3 hours, and then now we ended up going over to my buddy E. Bell's house with the cook yesterday for the first game, and then we came home. Kind of left at at the end of the third quarter.
It's a good window there. How far was the drive? Because you got to calculate
12
that.
minutes.
Okay. So
yeah, but we had on.
Yeah, you're fine.
On the phone the whole
Taking it
drive
with
home.
you, so
Yeah,
you're
we had it
fine,
with. And then we went back home, and then we hosted Kayla's whole family came over because they're all, Kayla's dad's from Detroit. They're, Lions fans, certainly. And so we had them over, and we had the Coney dog, which is somehow a Detroit thing. It is. It's true. We did extensive research.
Like Coney Island?
It's not because of Coney. Somebody was telling the story last night. Yes, there are hot dogs on Coney Island.
Yeah.
It's famous Coney Island dog. They just called it that because I think the people that made this and brought this to Detroit remembered the name of Coney Island when they went through.
Okay.
So it's called a Coney dog. But it's
Give me the
hot
breakdown.
dog, beanless chili.
So meat sauce?
Hormel makes a canned beanless chili, and that's really what it calls for. Some chopped white onion, and then if you would like some shredded cheddar on top.
So that sounds like what they do with the Skyline chili with the dogs.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Exactly.
so that's the operation.
Yeah.
Okay.
Our dad loved it. And then for San Francisco, we did clam chowder, and then I grilled some sourdough. Since we didn't have the bowls, we weren't making the bowls, that sourdough bread bowls.
Yeah.
And then did that, and it was delicious.
That's
and then
a
made a little steak. It was great.
The clam chowder is always an interesting one for you because you don't like the cream.
Except clam chowder.
Except clam chowder. That's the
right.
one exception for the cream.
That was the biggest fight ever between me and Miss K. Pure W. She couldn't believe it when I ordered
because
it.
you had been I would side with her on this.
Staunch anti-cream, and then I ordered clam chowder.
Anti-creamist,
and she was
and
like,
all of a sudden,
I don't even know you.
who are you?
Yeah, who are you? Yeah. Yeah. But no, it was great. It was.
That's good.
It was fun. Got into Griselda big time.
Is that good?
Yeah.
All subtitles or no?
No, it's all English.
Oh, okay. Okay, good.
I mean, they speak in Spanish at times.
Yeah. That was fine.
Narcos was so good because they allowed for everything to develop over time. Like you had a whole season.
One in Colombia
Yes.
or the one in the Mexico one?
Colombia
one. Yeah.
Pablo. You had a whole season kind of just like understanding who Pablo was.
Yeah.
What made him the way he was.
Yes.
Then you got the ascension. you got to fully enjoy the
Fruits of the
excess
labor.
of you had a few episodes on that. Then you get into the paranoia. Then you get into the down and all of it. But it gave you 20. You had time to really understand the different characters and get into. This is that condensed into 6 episodes. So
so it's like a 6 episode and that's it.
That's it.
They're not
so
doing
they yada yada when she takes over basically. They go 3 years later, the very next episode. So you don't even get to see the peak, the
build.
fun, the whole whatever. You get everything just happens too fast, and it would be so fascinating that I wish it had started 20 years prior, and you get her whole story.
Yeah.
But she's great.
Yeah,
she's great.
she would be.
High recommendation.
All right.
And you got to get it in because we got Curb coming back Sunday. So
Right. Oh my God,
Get
that's
it.
right.
Yeah.
There's a lot. I got to jam a lot in here. Buddy.
Yeah.
Is this peak NFL?
Niners Chiefs.
No, this weekend. This time in the sport right now. And here's the case I would make for it. These games will both do 50 million, probably, right? The sport has never been popular. The sport has never been more popular, not only on an island individually by itself, but against its traditional competitors, i.e. the rest of sports. The only other thing in sports that's even, and it's not really in the vicinity, but the only other thing in sport that is trending up from a television viewer standpoint is college football. So it's the minor league to the NFL.
Sure.
Is feeding into the NFL. It's the only other thing that's trending up. And beyond that, it's really the only other thing in entertainment that continues to get more and more people year in and year out over and over and over again. It is squashed, annihilated everything. And then you get a championship Sunday where we sit and watch for 7.5 hours 2 really compelling games, both incredibly competitive. One thing that you rarely see in the NFL nowadays is something that happens in college quite a bit, where you get a Georgia TCU game where it's a beatdown. Sometimes that happens in a college game. You get that. You don't get that in the NFL now. Most of the games are great. Most of the Super Bowls are very competitive. The championship games are very, very competitive. Everybody on the planet is watching it. You care about it regardless whether your team's in it or not. While everything else is receding in eyeballs and attention and viewership, and they talk about, we're being pulled in this direction, this. NFL says, nope, rocket ship. I don't know that the sport's ever been bigger or more popular.
Definitely not.
Versus its competition than it is right now.
Yeah,
And then this is, I'm sitting there last night when that was all over. I'm going my God, 17-10, Mahomes, Kelsey brothers, Lamar, and then into Niners and Dan Campbell and Eminem and Taylor Swift and combined 110 million people watched. That's it. It's just, and everything else has just been annihilated.
Is the divisional weekend because you have 2 Saturday, 2 Sunday? I mean, it's this 2-week stretch. Call it from the kickoff of the divisional week to the end of the championship. That is as peak as it gets.
Yeah, and I do think that in this moment in time, in 2024, the gap has never been bigger.
No. NFL's king.
Yeah, and it's just there's nothing else. I mean, there's nothing else that is universally watched, consumed, talked about. Every once in a while, there'll be a show that crosses over. I mean, you and I love Curb, but 3 million people watch Curb. It's not, you know what I mean? Every once in a while, there's a Game of Thrones or a Yellowstone, something that does 15 million. And that's huge, But
it's still not even a third.
No, right. There was a time you and I and Gibby, we're all old enough here. Do we remember when Seinfeld to do 30-some million people on a Thursday, or Cheers to do 30 million people, and those finales to do 80 million. There was a time when television did this. It doesn't anymore.
Well, there were 4 channels
for sure
that everybody had.
But that's what makes this even more amazing.
Yes,
is that like a Squid Game or something like that happens on Netflix, and the difference there is that you can watch that at your pace. In the NFL, you have to watch it on their pace, live. You cannot DVR it. You cannot miss it, or you miss everything.
Yeah.
Stunning.
It's awesome.
It's awesome.
Great because we're a part of it.
Yeah, no, it is. But it's a wild. It's just never. It hit me last night when it was all done. This is it. I think this is it. I think this is peak NFL. I think we're in it right now. Now the good news is,
I still think we're.
That's as I say. The peak can continue.
Correct.
It doesn't have to stop. We could still be on the
undiscovered summit.
Yeah, we could still be in the crescendo. Hello, Gibby.
Is the better weekend divisional playoffs, or is it championship Sunday?
I think it's the 8 days that begins with Saturday of the divisional playoffs and ends.
If you're going to make me choose, I'm going to take this weekend over last, because as with kids, I can't. There's no way that I could give 14 hours to football.
Sure.
On the divisional weekend.
The stakes.
I had to make sacrifices on the divisional weekend. There were no sacrifices made yesterday.
Yeah.
The Super Bowl's on the line.
Super Bowl's on the line.
The
stakes are
the stakes are enormous.
Yeah.
It usually, any sort of weaknesses have been weeded out. The teams that are in it are legitimate. You're never going to get Cinderella in the championship games. It rarely happens. The Giants a long time ago, but it's rare that happens anymore. Usually when you get to the championship, it's like Brady,
heavyweights.
Manning, Lamar, Pat Mahomes. The Niners have been in this spot over and over and over again. Detroit earned everything that went their way. They had it had every story. It's all of it.
Oh yeah.
I think it's the championship weekend. I think it's the one it's the most doable, and it's the most can't miss because the next game's the Super Bowl.
Okay, so my follow-up is we had this conversation last week whether or not we would want a game Saturday night and a game Sunday night.
Yeah.
I like the 2 games back-to-back on Sunday,
Yeah.
one day. My wife knew at 3 o'clock yesterday we were done for the weekend with whatever tasks needed to be done.
Yeah.
I would like one on each day. I just think it's fun. But
I think
I'm fine.
yesterday
It's fine.
was fine. Yesterday was great.
I
It's
like
awesome.
the start, and I like that it does not have a huge gap. It's like
10 minutes.
This game's ending.
I love
now
that.
we're playing. Yes.
I would prefer a Saturday and a Sunday. That's in large part because of, kind of where we live and the climate and all of that. Like, Saturday night it would have been awesome to just be locked into a game, and then Sunday night be locked into a game. It's a lot to sit there and watch for 7.5 hours, which we all did. It was there. I wish that it was spread out. Even something as simple as this is the second week in a row. Like even something as simple as like having dinner. Like we always have dinner around 6.
It's not
like
exactly easy.
I was making dinner as the Chiefs game was ending. So I couldn't keep a total eye on it. Whereas if they were split, that would be different. I mean, we're nitpicking. It was sensational. It was sensational, and the league delivers and delivers and delivers. It was sensational theater. I know we'll get into the breakdown of it, but I just want to run that by you guys in terms of just the peak of it.
No, I agree with it. This is a good advertisement for the sous vide is that allows you to time these things up perfectly. So we had our apps kind of in that little break between the two.
Yep.
And then I had the flank steak and the sous vide going, and we were able to time everything up. So at halftime, boom, they went right on the grill, sliced, everybody's eating, and by the time you're finished with that, you're getting the second half kick. It was great.
That is money. With the age of your guests, that's more possible.
That's right. They're adults.
Yeah, they're adults,
They're all
not
adults.
small children. Yes.
No.
So that was part of it. But it was great. I thought the Kevin Burkhardt and Olsen are tremendous. Olsen's
Very good.
tremendous.
Very good.
He's awesome.
Very
I think
good.
Romo is floundering.
Woof.
He's floundering. He was at one point yesterday. It was like start of the fourth quarter, and I don't know if it was when did Lamar throw into the triple coverage for the pick? Was that like 8 minutes? Or
In the
9?
fourth quarter.
It was in the fourth
It was in the
quarter,
fourth, but it wasn't like 2 minutes left. Like
No.
there was still a lot. And he goes, that's it. Game over, Jim. Unless it isn't. I went, what are we doing?
What kind of a comment is that?
What are we doing, man? Like,
Uno had a great point this morning when we were putting together the rundown. He's like, is he starting to bring down Nance?
I think Nance is annoyed.
I think Nance is annoyed.
I think he's annoyed. I do. I think he was annoyed initially because he was doing the play guessing, which took away his job. But then he kind of wrote it because it was it was
cool.
It was a phenomenon at that time. But now I do think to me he seems annoyed. Wow, look at that! Your refrigerator is cold. Give
We're
it-
gonna.
want one of those.
we got
yeah,
ice.
Can I get one of those?
Ice in
I
it.
hope the fridge ain't on the fritz. That
I'd
would
like
be
some
bad.
ice in my water. That'd be great.
I did. Those came from outside this morning, so they might have been sitting outside frozen and
All right.
have thawed
Yeah,
out.
that looks so
Good
good.
job.
thoroughly.
Yeah, this is literally
I'm parched.
there's ice in it.
I like that.
Very
Little
good.
ice
Little
chunk keeps
Yeah.
it nice and cold.
Yeah,
Very good.
100%.
Fox has some decisions. Supposedly, I don't know why, but
Well, because they gave him $300 million if he signed that contract, and you can't have him doing studio for that. I mean,
Why not? They already have 1,000 people doing studio.
they do.
because 4 million people watch studio and 50-some million watch game.
Are you
They
really
may
gonna
say-
demote
hold on, let me-
Olsen
let me-
to
You
the
could put
second
him in
team?
there with Olsen.
Let
Like
me-
you go Olsen, Brady.
No, just leave them alone. Devil's advocate.
Okay.
He on the studio could perhaps take it from 4 million to 5 million, which is 20% increase.
Do you think?
Do you think the game's going to change? Like, do you think anybody?
No,
more-
it's not about the rating
the
though. With it, it's
prestige.
the prestige of it, and it's the prestige of having him on the call. It's the prestige of when you go to meet advertisers. This is the guy up front to meet. Like in the old days at Fox, you would have met like the cast of 90210.
Whose
or
Super Bowl is it
whatever.
this year?
It's
CBS.
CBS. Nance and Romo.
Unfortunate.
Nance Romo in Vegas.
Hmm.
Yeah. So I don't know.
Was it Fox
They're
last
good.
year?
Yeah.
So they got
yeah.
the he's
so
gotten
he did it. He
They
did
do
a Super Bowl.
So then maybe they make him the number 2 team. I don't know.
It sucks because he's really good.
Yes.
He's very, very good. Yeah, it's a good.
Why not
it's a
make
good
Brady be
broadcast.
number 2 at first and then see how good he is?
You asked the question, you know the answer.
I don't know. I don't even know if he wants to do that.
Well, I'm sure what they're all hoping, because they don't really need him to do it.
Well, they could adding him to the mix buttresses the lineup. Like whatever
I think it buttresses
is.
like the advertiser thing,
Sure.
right? Because it allows you to go put him in front of enormous advertisers and say, "This is the face of Fox."
Brady was just running around in Australia with Dabo at the National Rugby League award show or something like that.
Was he
Brady
really?
was there throwing passes and like emceeing it.
Well, that is a country with a rich history of supermodels, so
Yeah.
maybe that was the operation.
So I got a video from Dabo. He's like, "Yeah, Brady's here." I'm like,
Brady's
What
here.
do you mean?
Why is he here?
Yeah.
In Brisbane?
Yeah.
I'll be damned.
He was at like it was a big the rugby league
Like their awards.
banquet or something.
They
Yeah.
flew him to Australia for it. And
Yeah,
he was
I'm
like,
sure
"Yeah,
he-
I'll go."
I'm sure he got paid a pretty penny.
What does he need it?
Gets to go to Australia.
He's got little kids. Like it's like,
He's like, listen,
I'm
I gotta
gonna go to Australia.
Gotta
What
go
do
to Australia.
You imagine that conversation with Giselle. So where are you going to be? Don't you have the kids this weekend? I'm sorry, I got to go to Australia.
Yeah.
For what? I'm going to present an award at the National Rugby League. Oh, that's justifiable. Hey, we got some reportedlies, kids. We got
Big
some
reportedlies.
Lots of reportedlies.
Lots of reportedlies.
All right, so for the reported offensive coordinator position that is reportedly vacant, with Alex Van Pelt going in another direction, reportedly, the Browns are reportedly hiring former Bills offensive coordinator Ken Dorsey as their new offensive coordinator. Now, Dorsey was most famous as being the quarterback at the University of Miami when they had one of the most absurdly talented teams of all time, and he was a spectacular quarterback, a Heisman finalist. He was a quarterback here, and was most recently the offensive coordinator of the Buffalo Bills before being removed middle of the season for Joe Brady.
So he's got a long history as a quarterback coach.
Mm-hmm.
He was a quarterback coach in Carolina beginning in 2013 and had that job with the Carolina Panthers from 2013 till 2017. And under that, in that era, Cam Newton had his best season, was the MVP of the National Football League. Then was a quarterback coach in Buffalo 2019, 2020. 2021, he was quarterback coach and the passing game coordinator. 2022 became the offensive coordinator. In his first year as the offensive coordinator, they were the number 1 scoring offense and the number 2 total offense. So
There you go.
that seems pretty good. The next year, this year, they were the number 4 total offense, and they were number 6 in yards and points. I'm sorry, number 4 total offense, number 6 in scoring offense. Obviously, he was removed halfway through the season, but we'd talked a lot about kind of, I thought, what they were looking for, and
Reportedly.
what I kept saying was,
Reportedly, because
well, yes, well, nothing's going to be updated or changed until
it's
we get a
reportedly.
press release
it's
eventually.
reportedly.
I mean,
What they're reportedly looking for.
Yes.
current OC, who's reportedly not our OC, is interviewing in Tampa today.
I don't know.
So
I'm looking at this.
I know.
All right, so
Anyway, so what I was saying is the thing that, to me, I thought they would be looking for was somebody who we're great in the under center, we're great in the hard play action, the outside zone, all the Stefanski Kubiak stuff. And I think a lot of people thought we need to get somebody who does that, like Clint Kubiak, or somebody who's from that Shanahan, Kubiak, McVay type tree.
Yeah.
Our guy's really good at that. We have that here. We have somebody who I think is as good as that as anybody. He's probably going to win Coach of the Year again. So that's not what we needed. What I was saying all along is we need somebody who is versed in the shotgun, RPO, spread, drop back game. We need somebody who has that skill set, works with quarterbacks that are involved in the run game, works with quarterbacks who are more comfortable in the shotgun. Well, guess what? Cam Newton was that way. Josh Allen was that way.
Mm-hmm.
You saw Josh Allen certainly develop under Dorsey and, in fact, reach new heights in 2022 when Dable actually left to go to the Giants, and he became the offensive coordinator. So I don't know why it didn't work out this year. What I can say is he brings an expertise in the style of quarterback play that I think is most beneficial to who our quarterback is.
You had two choices. You either need this offense to install this going into the offseason, install things in it that Deshaun Watson is immensely comfortable with.
Yep.
Or you needed Deshaun Watson to become immensely comfortable with his back to the defense.
I think you need both of those things.
And ideally, you'd get both.
Yes.
Right? But you have to – those things have to happen. You watch the games this weekend and you see what is required to get to the ultimate level. Those are the steps that you got to go on to get there. So ideally, this turns into both. You've always had the right read on this from the standpoint of anytime I saw any of the Kubiaks, it's never made sense. We have that. We don't.
We've
need,
got
we've
the
got
guy
that guy who's got the masters in it.
He's as good as anybody.
So you don't need that. That was never it.
Yeah.
That was never going to be it.
Agreed.
Do you think this means he's given up play calling? Because I would think not.
I don't
either.
I don't.
I don't think he should.
I'd like him to keep calling plays. I think
Me
he's
too.
great at it. I think he's very, very good at it. I think Dorsey can be an OC quarterback coach and be kind of in charge of that element of the offense and putting that part of it in.
agree.
And I think that's going to be a big, big thing. And I think it's going to look different than a lot of things we've seen in the past.
Yeah.
You're going to see a lot more of that spread stuff. You're going to see a lot more short passes that turn into big plays. You're going to see more attacking vertically on plays that aren't just hard play action or that aren't based off of a run action. You're going to see some shots that you can get organically out of the drop back game, more of a vertical drop back game. So I think it's good things, and we'll see. That's the one. If there's anything I want people to take away from what I'm saying now, I think that Ken Dorsey's regarded as being a very intelligent guy, so I think that fits with the people in our building. He's had a good track record with quarterbacks getting better under his watch.
Yep.
Cam did, Josh Allen did as well. And I think he has an expertise in a style of offense that is probably more comfortable and beneficial to our quarterback than the current area of expertise in this building. And I also think that Deshaun, and I've said this before, needs to do everything he can with his back to that hard play action game, because then we have everything. We can run it all. We can run it all, which would be, I think, make us very multiple. Kevin always talks about that, and make us very difficult to defend.
The Browns are also reportedly hiring former Texans Jacques Cesar. Am I saying that right? As the new defensive line coach. Reportedly
hiring him.
Yep.
I don't know about that sentence. I don't know if we might have to work on that. He's not former Texans. He's former Texans defensive line coach.
He's not former Texans.
No, he's not a former Texans.
No. He was responsible for helping guide multiple Texans defensive linemen.
Uno wants to jump in and defend
himself.
himself.
Jump in.
He's a former Charger. It's former Texans defensive line coach, played for the San Diego Chargers in the NFL.
There you go.
Okay, but that is not the sentence.
That's not what the sentence says. That's not what it says on the paper.
Completely botched the sentence.
Okay, all right, very good.
Go for a run around the block.
Current defensive line coach Ben Bloom is expected to remain with the team in some capacity. Again, that's got to be reportedly too, right?
That would be
reportedly.
Also be
reportedly.
I love Ben Bloom. So
I do too.
I hope that Ben Bloom is good.
You know what I'm mostly happy about? Like, I guess if all of this happens reportedly, if all that is being reported is happening, would that mean that offensively we're done hiring people for this cycle?
I think so, and then that would allow us. But there could be minor assistants.
But I suppose we still reportedly would need a running back coach.
No, reportedly that's Deuce Staley.
Oh, that's right. I lose track.
Here's the
because here I'm on the website.
Here's the reportedly.
Not,
here's the reportedly. OC Ken
Still
Dorsey. Reportedly, running back Deuce Staley.
Yep.
Reportedly.
Yep.
Tight end coach Tommy Reese. Reportedly.
Okay, so
and D-line coach Jacques Cesar.
Right now, we would be at our full.
Okay, reportedly.
Reportedly.
Here's
this guy had to
you want to
play
know the
with
biggest?
Wilhelm, right?
You want to know the biggest win in all of this?
The word reportedly.
Sure. No Art Smith.
No.
That would have been awful for us here on this program. Would have
Was he interviewing with the Pukers over the weekend?
He was,
and
it would have hastened my exit because there would be audio that would be. All of us would have to. We'd all be gone. We would be headed.
We could get called in for that.
We'd be headed to Santa Fe faster than any of us had anticipated, which might not be the worst thing.
Given the weather?
Given the weather, it might not be. All right, we'll do one thought on Conference Championship weekend. We've got your Griff fact of the day coming up as well. We're all very, very excited about that. We've got the Brownie Awards. We're going to be handing out some awards today in the first hour of the program. We had a lot of fun coming your way, kids. You're listening to Cleveland Browns Daily on 850 ESPN Cleveland. For my friends at Jim Beam, what do sports and Jim Beam have in common? Both are better when enjoyed with others, so grab a bottle, gather your friends, enjoy the game, because with Jim Beam, you come as fans and leave as family. Kentucky Straight Bourbon Whiskey, 40% alcohol by volume. Copyright the 2024 James B. Beam Distilling Company, Claremont, Kentucky. Drink it smart. All right, one thought, Gibby. Hello, Gibby.
Hi. Yeah. We can go into multiple thoughts because we really haven't broken things down.
No,
here.
is this what we want to do? Do you want to break it down right now?
Sure.
Let's do it.
Yeah, because we're gonna have a little fun later on. It's
All
a
right.
week. We got a week long picking out the best Browns game of the year with the
I like
help of the fans.
I like it.
So, first up, the AFC Championship game: Chiefs 17, Ravens 10. I want you to know, I woke up yesterday morning and I said, I actually had a moment where I'm like, it's not about who I want to see in the Super Bowl. Who do I want to hear about for the next 2 weeks ad nauseum? Do I want to hear about the Ratbirds?
Yeah.
Or do I want to hear about Kelsey and Swift and all the Swifties?
Yeah.
Because I was on the fence for a brief minute.
Sure.
And then I was like, what are you doing, you moron? Like, hey,
Art Modell.
it's the Ravens. They suck. You want nothing but bad things for that franchise and for everyone else.
Yeah.
I want Simone paying for seafood towers. Welcome to the off-season, Simone.
Yep. I'm with you.
And
I love it.
And then it was like, what are you doing, Gibbs? How could you even have that thought in your head?
So it's funny, I'm never picking against Mahomes again. Like, I'm just not.
I think that was a good move on your part.
Yeah, I think he's inevitable. He's just inevitable, and he wasn't crazy great in this game. They didn't need him to be, but at no point did I think that they would lose. Did you ever think that Kansas City was going to lose? As soon as they scored first, I'm like, they're good.
No, but then they got that big touchdown back to Zay Flowers. I mean, they turned the ball over in the end zone basically twice.
I just feel like even if it ever would have been tied, he would have
no,
went
it
and
felt
scored.
like they were, yeah. And
Would've went and
Kelsey was
scored. And they were-
automatic.
Yeah, he was automatic. They were taking their time. They were
Yeah.
bleeding clock.
Yes.
So like to me it just felt like that. I think my number one takeaway from this is this is 6 straight AFC championship games for them. It's 4 Super Bowl appearances for them. He's going for his 3rd. He'll be 28 and he's going for his 3rd Super Bowl.
No,
Like
he's
Brady's 7 is so far out there he won't even be halfway if he wins it. But the other thing that's amazing about him, guys, he elevates in the postseason. So his regular season level is otherworldly, and then
Yes.
in the postseason he gets better than that against the best teams in the best competition in the biggest moments. He's better. That's nuts. That is nuts.
It was interesting to me, though, that they couldn't put them away. Like, they came
They
away
couldn't.
empty when they got the sack strip fumble deep in Baltimore territory, the back-to-back holding penalties, remember? It surprised me that they couldn't put
Baltimore's
them
very
In the
good.
second half, they had
Baltimore
like
is good.
65 yards of total offense
The
until
Chiefs?
that big pass play on
Yeah.
3rd down.
That was a heck of a catch by Marquez Valdez-Scantling.
Baltimore's very good.
Very good.
That's the other. They're very talented. They're very good. I mean, that blitz Kyle Hamilton got, the way they hit that, and he went unencumbered into Mahomes.
You could
was
make
crazy.
the argument he was the best player on the field yesterday.
Well, we
He
talked
was-
about him in the draft.
yeah.
As soon as we saw it, no, not there.
Ugh.
Gross.
Same with Patrick Quinn.
Yeah, we're like, no,
that was a
not there.
physical game, too.
It was a punch you in the mouth.
It was intense.
Yeah.
I love it. I tell you what, I think Mahomes, not that he was bored with everything going through Kansas City, I think he's absolutely
Yeah.
thoroughly enjoyed going on the road, silencing crowds, and being the underdog.
Yeah, it's funny. They started the Super Bowl as +2. It was Niners -2. It's already down to 1. I don't understand how you can make him an underdog. I don't care how good San Francisco is. Like, I just
That
don't understand.
number
Do it at
popped
your own
up, and
peril.
Yeah.
I was with friends last night,
Yeah.
and immediately the phones were out.
Yeah.
Like, it was like, have you seen the score?
Yeah, we got.
And I'm like,
Hold
well,
on.
I'm not allowed to, but
Yeah.
have at it.
Enjoy
kids.
yourselves, boys.
I don't blame you.
Yeah. They're just – is there a – I know that there's some people who have like Mahomes fatigue because I know where you're coming from in terms the Taylor Swift doesn't bother me at all. I really could care less. She's the biggest star in the world. Like, it doesn't make any difference.
And
to me.
she's
I think
seems
it's
like
all
a
justifiable.
genuinely not good person.
She's hugging on Travis, and it's fine. And I think she should be shown, like as anybody who's that famous would be if they were at a sporting event. I mean,
Yes.
Like it's not that big of it's not a big deal to me at all. I did find myself though, and I do, and I love watching Mahomes. He's my favorite thing to watch, other than teams that I've cared about. If he's on, I will watch it because
He's good.
he's a wizard.
He's good. He's fun to watch.
But I did find it was going on. Like sometimes I found myself like rooting a little bit for Baltimore, and I don't know if it's kind of like the Steph Curry thing, where we've just seen so much of them that we've seen so much of the brilliant. Like we saw so much of Steph, and I know here there was the thing, obviously the rivalry with the Cavs, but even around the country, people be like kind of just Steph fatigue, and I do think there's a little bit of Mahomes fatigue to all of this. And I did find myself, like, while I was watching the game, like, kind of rooting for the Ravens, which I do not want them in the Super Bowl.
No.
But I did find myself, like, because I like Lamar and I like, Monken and I like some of their staff, and I found myself going, like, well, God, I can't have this. What are we doing here? And I just wonder if some of it is, like, subconsciously, like, just we've had so much Mahomes over the last 6 years.
Hey, listen, I thought he came across so well on the quarterback show. I think that was helpful for him.
Very likable.
Yeah, very likable guy. He's good, and they're good. And now it's the Niners Chiefs. I mean, that's a marquee one. Was it 4 years later? Because those Niners Chiefs.
4 years later, when Kittle said, "I'm going to be back here and I'm going to wreck this thing or whatever, or with a vengeance. I'm going to come back with a vengeance." Yeah.
Well, here he is
Here's your opportunity.
in Vegas.
It's
gonna be great.
So it'll be the same uniform matchup too, right? Because they'll be white over gold and it'll be red over white.
That's what it was. Yeah.
That's what it was the last time. It'll be that again.
So it's based on
it just alternates AFC, NFC home.
who wears the homes.
And since it was 4 years ago, it should be the exact same uniform matchup.
Oh, baby.
Yeah.
Yeah. I thought, by the way, Lamar's catch of the deflected pass was one of the more incredible plays I've ever seen.
Oh, just wait till you hear Tony Romo fawn over it in about 25 minutes.
His accelerate, like they thought they were picking that, and he was a purple blur that just came right through, caught it, and picked up 13 yards.
It was unbelievable.
Oh wait, I got to add that.
That is
Hold on,
that was
that's an extra
That's a
1.8
catch.
for him.
Oh,
That's
that
an
is
extra
actual- I don't
1.8.
think-
It's a
probably-
13-yard reception.
Probably not going to get you there, but it's
Not going to get but it
it'll help in the
now puts
overall.
us a 1 point. Now it's a 1
there you go,
point spread.
1 point spread.
Don't think the over-unders are a 1 point spread, folks.
Good week for you.
If I'm with the only two we had,
I'll do it in the break. I'm not sure.
the only two we didn't have together. To verify this, because then I can tell you. Was I had the NFC total over the AFC total. That was the last one.
That was let's see, 49ers and Lions. Yes.
Now easy
So
win.
That's an easy dub.
And
Easy
then
dubs.
I had McCaffrey and Kittle against Amon-Ra and Gibbs,
that is also true.
and that
Total
one
yards.
went. That one
had to be pretty close.
159 total yards for McCaffrey and Kittle. 145
Oh, jeez.
for the
Done in.
Leons. Give a
So
down,
Gibby,
three.
Gibby. Down three.
Oh baby.
Down three. Gonna have to catch up with the Super Bowl, Gibby. You'll have to go opposite. I'll make him go first.
No one.
And you're gonna have to go
I'm
opposite
fine.
every single week.
I'm right where I need to be.
I just need to get two right.
We're right where we need to be.
That's it. Yeah, that was fun. I loved it. I thought the AFC Championship game was great. It was a heavyweight fight.
It was
awesome.
ugly. It
and
was
by
a little
the
bit
way-
ugly.
But it was
it was
fine.
a
It was
slobber
thrilling.
knocker.
It was thrilling. Both defenses were awesome.
That's
Yeah,
what
it's a
I
slobber
was.
knocker.
That's where I was
Kansas
going. You
City's
can talk
defense
about
was good.
Mahomes and
Yeah.
Andy Reid, but the job that Kansas City defense did. That Kansas City defense
Chris
is the
Jones.
best maybe Mahomes has ever had.
Chris
no
Jones is
doubt.
a beast.
How about he is a beast. Your boy Zay Flowers running his mouth, costs him
Taunting.
the yards, and then the guy he talks the smack to punches it out. Snead punched it out at the goal line.
Isn't
it incredible how good these guys are at following the script that they were able to do that on purpose?
Yeah, it was that they followed the
amazing.
script that well. Yeah. I think that's always so funny when people think that about. Wasn't there some theory that the Super Bowl colors are like purple and red, so it was
Yes.
supposed to be the
Oh yeah.
Ravens and Niners? It was predetermined following the script. Well, it turns
Nope.
out not.
Not.
No, not. Here's the deal. This is a funny thing for like the people who say that some of that nonsense, and we
Think about
laugh
how
at
hard
it.
it would be to execute punching that ball out.
We laugh at it, but there are some people who actually believe it. Like that's the problem with conspiracy theory. Like some people actually believe it. Like they don't have the intellectual property to be able to understand that it's nonsense. And so like the idea that the NFL needs nothing. They have all of your attention. They're wrapped in your attention. They don't need it. It doesn't matter who plays in the Super Bowl. They're going to go 100 million. It doesn't matter.
Agreed. I do think what we learned from this season, not that it's anything that we learned just this season, But to truly be a team that kind of gels and has that run, your quarterback's got to stay healthy. If you just look at the final 8, you look at the final 4, their quarterback stayed healthy all year long. Lamar played all year long. Mahomes played all year long. Goff played all year long. Purdy played all year. You take it around back. Stroud, other than 2 games with a concussion, basically played all year long. Allen played all year long.
Yep.
On the other side, Jordan Love played all year long, and Baker played all year long. I mean, keeping your quarterback
has to be upright and healthy
is very important.
Yep.
Up next to the NFC, I can only imagine. I wish we could publish the Pedro text
I actually
chain.
requested them yesterday. I'm like, and I don't think none of it's possible to share. But
no,
you did give me a funny Cliff Notes version of his emotional.
It was a roller coaster. I'll just basically, first half, misery, start sending me things of like.
We're firing people.
He's sending me joke articles. Texas politely declines the Cowboys' offer to send offensive line to guard the border. Like, he's starting to. This is in the middle of the game. Like, what's going on? Sending me this. Lions are better. Wonder where Steve Wilkes is going to be coaching next year. Like, defensive lineman stink. Oh, he not a fan of Chase Young. I'll tell you that much. Not a fan of Chase Young.
The one play was pretty brutal where he
just
stopped. I think it was the Gibbs touchdown.
Yeah.
He's like, I'm done. I'm not going to pursue it.
Yeah. What else did he want?
It'll be fascinating to see where he ends up in the offseason.
We need to revamp the right side of the offensive line, get a slack corner, get a new coordinator. Then he hates the prevent defense. All it does is prevent you from
winning, of course.
Yes. And then they score. He goes, see? Let them zip down the field. He's like, Niners will need a first down. Okay. So a roller coaster of emotions, and then he was happy. His walk-off was Purdy can come from behind after all, twice. Okay.
Did you just text back #Montana?
Brock Montana. Then he was saying Purdy's better with his legs. He liked his 2 runs. He was very happy about that, but he was pleased. Then we were talking Super Bowl for a second. Then he looked at the prices of everything associated with it, and I think he said, "Yeah, no,
we could afford it." On you give a little Scully. Take the old man for his birthday.
I don't have that kind of.
Take the old man for his birthday. You and him.
Birthday's in October.
Early birthday present.
Very early.
Maybe you and him do it upright.
Little father-son bonding.
Father-son bonding.
Well, so far it looks like it would be like right now. Again, this could change, and perhaps I have other avenues to explore. But looks like all in would be at least for if you went there for 2 nights, north of $15,000 for 2 people.
Yeah. Do you think that those? I always tell people on the hotels I would wait
and tickets.
Wait till next week. How about the Airbnb situation?
Well, I also think the hotel situation is going to clear up tremendously in the next week.
It's got to at some point
because they have Apex hotel rooms. There's plenty,
and they didn't know who. Nobody knew who was playing.
Right. So they're trying to get you now, and it'll calm down for sure. It's a cruel way. I mean, you do the one thought. It's a cruel way to lose. You're up 3 scores. You're up 24-7, and you can't hold it. I guess if there's one positive for it, San Francisco, because of the turnovers, came back so quickly in the third quarter. So it's not like this was like death by 1,000 cuts. It was bludgeoned. I mean, it was tie game right away, and it was like, okay, well, I guess game on. I felt sick for Lions fans, just sick for them. I mean, they're the only team to never play in the Super Bowl that was in existence from the entire Super Bowl era. They're the only ones because we missed years. We weren't in existence for a couple of years. But they're the only one who's been there the whole time, who's never played in it. And you could listen to Dan Campbell post game, and he knows as a player how difficult it all is.
Yeah,
and you could almost sense like this. You never know what's going to be your shot, but he knows how hard it is to scale that mountain. And to be up 3 scores in an NFC championship game on the road with all that momentum, it was opportunity lost for sure for them. And you don't know if you'll be back.
And you need to evaluate some of the way you go about your business.
Yeah.
There has to be nuance. You cannot just be, a power puncher all the time. Power punchers, you're going to get a lot of knockouts and it's going to work, but power punchers lose. You have to be a boxer. You have to master the sweet science, and it takes nuance and understanding the situations and what's going on.
Yeah.
I thought of the decisions. I thought the field goal at the end of the first half was fine. 3 scores on the road, 24-7, right? That's what it made it. And you didn't want that drive to end empty, and then they got the ball to start. That all of a sudden maybe that changed the way that could have changed the momentum. Because if you don't kick it and you don't get it, it's 21-7. Niners get the ball. Say they make it 21-14. It's a 1-score game all of a sudden. And you're like, wait a second, how'd that happen?
Yeah, what just happened? He just dominated.
The 4th down where Josh Reynolds dropped it, that was them trying to deliver a knockout punch. And I'm fine with it. You were still up 14. Even if you didn't get it, I was okay with that one. Now, the one when they found themselves down 3, you've got to kick that field goal and tie the game. You've got to kick that field goal.
Yeah.
I didn't think there was any way they were snapping. I thought they were going to go take it down to like 1 second and then call a timeout or something.
Yep.
The other thing, I thought that was horrible. I thought that was just, this is who we are. This is who we are stuff. It doesn't work. You have to adapt and adjust to the situations presented. I think in some ways for us with our defense, we played a this is who we are game against the Texans as opposed to maybe making some adjustments that would have countered what they did better. Like just take Nico Collins out of the game. Nico Collins, you're going to be vaporized. You're out. I think that is a tough thing. And the other thing they did that I thought was incredibly insane is call a run play near the goal line. Because
you're talking down 10 with a minute on 3rd and goal.
Risk, well, you had all 3 timeouts. The risk of it not working outweighs the potential reward of it working. So you have to throw it there because then you can kick off deep.
Yep.
Stop them.
They got to punt.
They have to punt. And you got a chance to get into field goal range and kick a field goal that could tie the game.
Yeah. No, that was just crazy. It was just crazy. It was. It was just wild clock management. It was wild in choices. You have to have nuance, and it was all there for him. And they blew it, and it's it's hard. It's a hard business, man. Like that franchise, it's been 30-some years between championship games since they've been in them. It's really hard. They know how hard it is to get back. I really like their roster. I think it's interesting. They finally got something out of Jameson Williams. He provided them with a big pop, something that he hadn't really done all year. It's kind of what we always thought he would do for them, and they never really were able to get it going. And then they did in the game yesterday. The fumble and the drop in the second half, the drop on the 4th down, and then the fumble. Those are just brutal spots on all of that stuff. They were a fun team. They were a fun team, and they're going to be. I'm not sure in terms of their contract situation what they look like. They got to figure out Goff, right? They got to get him locked up, and they should. He's great. He's great. Not on him yesterday at all. He's a cool customer to say the least. For San Francisco now, I mean, this is 3 trips now for Kyle as a head coach. Or no, second trip as a head coach and then offensive coordinator. But he's been to the Super Bowl now 3 times as either coordinator or head coach, twice as a head coach. It's all on them. All the pressure's on them. Kansas City's house money at this point. You always want to win the Super Bowl, but the pressure will be on San Francisco to do it.
Yeah. It's going to be incredible. It's going to be incredible.
The last one was good between these two.
Yeah.
This is going to be a great game.
They were up 10 in the 4th quarter, the Niners.
Yeah. Yep.
That was the 49ers' botched defense.
Yeah, Emmanuel Mosley.
Well, and didn't Garoppolo throw a pick late in that one too?
He missed Emmanuel Sanders for a touchdown.
Is that what it was? He missed Sanders. That's right. I knew that there was a Garoppolo component to this as well.
They dialed it up. He was open, and he just overthrew him.
Yeah, so they had one bust go the other way and then one that could have gone their way, and they got neither of them. And Kansas City got
and they had
Super
the
Bowl.
slant to Kittle that Chris Jones knocked down that if he completed that, he was gone.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Chris Jones is a beast.
He's a beast. Yeah, he is absolutely a beast. So, yeah, that was great. Great championships. What do you got for Griff stat of the day, Griff? Does Uno read the Griff stat of the days?
He can. By the way, I have a great story about the Griff stat.
Let's hear it.
So the Griff stat the other day about Kelsey being 7 catches away from eclipsing Jerry Rice.
Mm-hmm.
Adam Schefter tweets the very same thing yesterday morning.
Yep.
I was copied on the Browns Daily Twitter account by numerous people tweeting at Adam Schefter going, Griff already had this on Browns Daily 3 days ago.
Griff.
You're late. You're late, Schefter. You're late.
Yes.
And I'm like, is this really happening?
That's amazing.
great.
Well, maybe Schefter listens to the show, Griff.
Should.
He should.
Yeah.
Miss a little, miss a lot.
First one from Griff today. The 49ers' 17-point comeback win matched the largest comeback victory in NFC Championship game history. According to NFL research, the 49ers were also previously 0-5 when trailing by at least 14 points at any game since 2022.
All right, that's great. Question. What did it match? Which other team came back from 17 down?
The 2012 San Francisco 49ers.
Against who?
Boy, I don't even
Atlanta.
Atlanta, the 2012 Falcons. Matt Ryan?
You're definitely Matt Ryan.
Matt Ryan
Yes.
and Julio?
I don't remember much about
Boy, I don't remember that game
I mean,
at
I was
all.
11, so I don't.
There's no reason to rub it in.
But I
Wow, that
was
is
just
wild.
looking it up to see what the last one was. I remember they did bring it up during the broadcast. Like it was the last
28
time was the Niners.
24. Niners were down 17-0 in the game. Started with a Julio Jones touchdown.
Was it in San Francisco or was it,
It
in
was
Atlanta?
in Atlanta. Matt Bryant, 35-yard field goal, 10-0. Julio Jones, 20-yard touchdown, 17-0. And then they came back. LaMichael James, 15-yard touchdown run. Vernon Davis, 4-yard touchdown pass from Kaepernick. Akers, a couple of field goals. Then Tony Gonzalez, 10-yard pass from Matt Ryan. And then they made the kick, 24-14. Frank Gore, 5 yards out, 24-21. Gore from 9 yards out makes it 28-24 with 8:23 to go, and that would be the last score of the game. In this one, Colin Kaepernick, this is with Harbs, obviously. Kaepernick throws 16 of 21 for 233 yards and 1 touchdown, quarterback rating of 130. Gore ran 21 times for 90 yards and 2 touchdowns. LaMichael James had 5 for 34 and touchdown. Kaepernick ran for 21. Vernon Davis, 106 and a touchdown. Randy Moss was on that team.
Oh, Randy.
I forgot that Randy Moss was on that team. Randy Moss, 3 for 46. Crabtree, 6 for 57. They had Delaney Walker as well.
I have no recollection of Randy Moss on that team.
Atlanta, Matt Ryan, 30 of 42 for 396, 3 touchdowns, rating of 115. Their running backs were Michael the Burner Turner and Jaquiz Rogers. Julio had 11 for 182 and 2. Roddy White, 7 for 100. Tony Gonzalez, 8 for 78 and a
They have
touchdown.
So many weapons.
Jeez Louise.
That's wild. The AFC version of that was Baltimore over New England, 28-13, with our
Wow.
guy Flacco. Yeah, Baltimore.
They came back 28-13?
No. Baltimore beat New England 28-13
Okay.
in the 2012
Got it.
AFC Championship. It was 13-7 New England at half. Baltimore scored. Anquan Bolden had 2 touchdowns in the fourth quarter.
Man.
They actually scored the last 3 touchdowns. Baltimore did with our guy Flacco, getting it done. So that's how that worked, and that was the Super Bowl. And people thought, all right, you have 2, right? You have 2 Griff stats.
Yeah, one more.
All right, go ahead.
About the AFC Championship
All right.
game. After Sunday's AFC Championship win, head coach Andy Reid is now 6-0 in the playoffs against his former assistants and 22-9 overall in the regular season. So Belichick level domination. for him.
Dominates. It's kind of like Saban used to.
Yeah, and
Saban
Saban.
before Kirby Smart, he used to just dominate the assistants, just crush them. Do you guys know where Andy Reid sits on the NFL all-time wins list?
I do not.
Top 5.
Yep. 4. He's 258.
So Shula,
Yep.
Belichick,
Hallis is 2.
Hallis,
Yeah. And then
and then
Reid.
Reid.
He's 65. He's at 258 right now. I think
Yeah.
Belichick's at like 302 or something like that.
Okay.
But in that, I'm not sure if that one counts playoff wins in addition, because
Yep.
if that happens, he's going to stack even quicker.
Yes.
He's 65. Like he's going to, there's no question. He's a football guy. Like there is no
Through and
personal
through.
life for him. Like he coaches football. That's his life. He will coach it as long as Mahomes can go. I had somebody say, well, how much longer is Andy Reid going to coach? I'm like, until he can't. Like he's going to coach to 72. He could easily coach 5 more years, 7 more years with Mahomes for sure.
Yeah.
And they could track that down. If he's in the 13 wins a year mode for the next, he's going to get there quick.
Yeah.
He's going to get there really quick. Now I don't know if he's going to get Shula, because Shula's like 328, but he's going to be definitely in the vicinity by the time all is said and done.
By the way, Renamos,
Yep.
2012, his last year in the NFL, played for the Niners, 28 catches, 434 yards, 3 touchdowns, 15.5 a catch.
Yeah. I so wanted him to win a Super Bowl.
And he came back after he missed the season. He retired after 2010, so didn't play 2011, then came back to play with the Niners at the age of 35. So he never won a Super Bowl.
No, because they 07 Patriots, they lost. That was the best team he was ever on.
Gosh.
Yeah.
That year he only had 7 catches for 94 yards in the playoffs in 3 games.
In 07?
Yeah.
Wonder what happened. Why that would have been the case. It's pretty crazy.
Yeah.
Be part of one of the most passionate fan base in the NFL. Join the Next Gen STM presented by Ticketmaster. Official waitlist to your Cleveland Browns. Being a Next Gen STM is the best chance to become a season ticket member in future seasons. Visit clevelandbrowns.com/nextgenstm to reserve your spot today. Coming up next, some of the incredible sound bites from championship weekend from the various play-by-play and color duos around the league. It's always a good listen. It's coming up next. You're listening to Cleveland Browns Daily, brought to you by Bally Bet, sports betting partner of your Cleveland Browns, now live in Ohio on 850 ESPN Cleveland. Don't miss Billy Joel, Rod Stewart together for the first time ever Friday, September 13th at Cleveland Browns Stadium. Tickets go on sale Friday, February 2nd at 10 a.m. Visit clevelandbrowns.com/Billy and Rod 2024 for more information. It's Billy Joel and Rod Stewart together for one night only. It's
Still
just
a
this.
one-night deal.
It's wild. It's amazing. It's amazing that that's happening.
So apparently this tour, I think, is a lot of one-night onlys. Because there's a Vegas
is it
one
like a Billy
that
one
is
night only, like a bunch
him
of
and
different?
Sting that's a one night only.
Oh, so it's a Billy Joel one night only.
That's what it feels like.
It's like Billy Joel and superstar guests.
I got you.
Yeah.
Well, that's strong. Jim Harbaugh officially introduced in L.A. today and in the Powder Blues, I see.
I'm looking at the video of him, and it looks weird.
He's
and
strange.
he
He's
is
a different
weird.
cat, man.
Yeah.
How do you think he is going to coexist with their social media team?
I think he won't even be aware of it. Like, I don't think he'll. I just
They
don't
have a
think
pretty
he'll even-
cutting
They're
edge.
very cutting edge. I don't think he'll even be. I don't think.
I
He'll
don't
be aware
know,
of it.
man. Coaches.
I don't think he's someone who's too worried about those type of things. I think he'll stay on his side of it.
So he brought Jesse Minter, and then his as the
strength
DC
coach.
and his strength coach.
Yeah, which I always think it's funny when college guys bring their strength coach, because my buddy Schlegel went with Urban to Jacksonville, and this spoke more to Urban's just naivete in terms of what the job was. Like, Urban thought that like Schlegs was going to be like doing mat drills with NFL players, and that the whole team would stay in Jacksonville and train all off season and all of this. And like, he was so naive to what the NFL was. It's honestly stupefying that how naive he was. But like, I think of that, and Harbaugh would know better. So he must just really like this guy, but like, it's a very.
To me,
here's the other thing: like, strength job is $1 million job in college.
And you'll be there forever.
Yeah, and it's $1 million now.
Yeah,
like,
you don't
the
have to
strength
worry
coach
about NILs and everything as
No.
a strength coach.
No,
your job is just to get guys working
Yeah.
out and make sure everybody's in shape.
The strength coach at Ohio State's $1 million job. It would be at Michigan too. There's no way a strength coach in the NFL is $1 million job, unless you add other titles to it. I can't see it. All right, we've got some of the best calls of the weekend. These are always fun. Let's start with this is 106.5 The Wolf, the radio home of the Kansas City Chiefs. This is the Mahomes to Travis Kelce touchdown, one of the two.
Mahomes to throw against a four-man rush. Fires it near side to Kelce. Comes back to the ball and holds it in. Touchdown! Kansas City. Patrick Mahomes absolutely took duct tape and just wrapped the ball around the waist of Travis Kelce for a 19-yard touchdown.
I wasn't going to
duct
play
tape?
it, then I'm like, wait a minute. Last week we had to play a number of these.
Took duct tape,
Duct tape.
Duct
and
tape.
wrapped it around the waist of Travis Kelce.
There
Last
you
week,
go.
didn't he have the sweet nectar of the
Sweet
end zone?
nectar of the end zone.
That was an unbelievable throw. So Kelce runs an out and up, and it was covered perfectly by Hamilton, and he throws it back shoulder into his hip.
Yep.
It was unbelievable, and it's a great catch. Kelsey's hands are unreal.
Yeah, he was trending like all season. It was like, look, he's getting older. It's all those things, and now he's
dominating
catching
the
everything.
playoffs.
Just completely dominating.
He's got like 180-something yards or 190
Yeah,
yards and
totally
3
dominant.
touchdowns. Yeah.
Totally dominant. We'll go to network for this one. This is Jim Nantz and Tony Romo. This is the play we talked about earlier. This is Lamar Jackson catching his own tipped pass.
2nd and 5. Ball batted up into the air and caught by Jackson. He caught his own pass.
That's one of the greatest plays I've ever seen. This is intercepted 100% by the Chiefs' read. And Lamar uses the instincts, the God-given gifts, the awareness to go beat him to the punt and makes one of the greatest plays you'll ever see in a championship game.
So that clearly is him talking about the replay, right? That's not in real time because Lamar ran for 20 yards.
Correct.
So like it's Nance's calling of the catch and then Romo seeing
Later
it on
on.
replay. Okay. Yeah. That's the way that I thought it was. So here's my thing.
It was incredible.
I often think my only criticism that I would make of the NFL from a broadcast standpoint is I wish they would shoot the games a little wider so that we could see a little bit more. Typically my beef here is so I can see a little bit more what's happening in coverage and I can
Yes.
see some of that. I think they shoot the game too tight.
Yep.
And I wish they would just zoom it out a little bit. So they're still shooting it as if everyone's got an 18-inch TV, right? We all got real big TVs now. Everybody does. They're very affordable. Anybody can get them. Like, shoot the thing wide, man. We're not in trouble seeing it. And this was an example of it because when the ball is tipped, it leaves the screen. So you can't see where the ball is when it's tipped. So it's like it's coming down out of the sky, but nobody knows where. So you don't even get to see really Lamar jockeying for it. Like he literally like shot out of a cannon is what it was like on television because you didn't have a chance to see like were the Chiefs like ready to fair catch it. You had because it was in the air forever. You had no context.
And they just shot out of because it was shot tight. So from that sense, it added the surprise because then all of a sudden you see this purple blur and he catches it and goes.
I think it's Snead who gets him down. Was it Snead who got him down? I think so.
Yeah.
Like if he didn't,
he might have been gone. That would have been unreal.
Yeah, he was gaining steam real quick.
Yeah. That's how that thing was going to end.
Just the fawning, like, is it one of the greatest plays in championship game history?
If they win, it is. If they win, it is. Then it's I don't know. It's so hard because if you think about like the Immaculate Reception or the Raiders, the Holy Roller, like those plays from like the 70s, like those were replayed over and over and over again on VHS. Like you saw them forever. Like I don't know if anything will have that anymore. We're so prisoner of the moment. When you did 2012 and we were doing the Niners and the Falcons, I couldn't even remember who the Ravens played in the AFC. I couldn't remember the AFC Championship game at all from that year. Nothing.
Yeah.
No recollection of it. So I think it's just the repetitiveness. I don't think it probably would live on that way. And because they lost, it definitely won't. All right, let's stay in that game. This is 106.5 The Wolf. This is Zay Flowers fumbling it into the end zone. This was not one of those ones where they reached, so this got punched out.
Punched out.
Yep.
Got straight up punched out. So here's the call.
Back to throw is Lamar Jackson over the middle, caught by Zay Flowers, and lunges for the end zone. They're going to say the ball's out. They're going to say the ball is out in the end zone. The Chiefs think they have the ball in the end zone. No official has been given yet. They're going to say a touchback. The Chiefs recover the ball in the end zone. Zay Flowers hit short of the end zone and fumbles the ball.
They're going to say, he used that a few times, and then I think he may have said end zone 8 times in that one.
He might have.
In that clip.
He's
that was
pretty
good.
excitable, yeah.
He is. He's great. He's fun to listen to.
I mean,
the guy a lot.
It's the best play of the game.
Yeah, it is.
Did the color guy give L'Jarius Sneed the credit? Did he say
Did
Sneed
he
punched
pick up
it out?
on it?
Did they
that
pick
Sneed
that
got
up?
it?
Yeah, what happened there? See, that to me is if they punched that and that ball went out of bounds through the end zone, it should still be their ball. But they recovered in the end zone. End of story.
End of story.
It's a good normal. It was a great play.
If they would have, so if they punch it out and the Ravens recover it in the end zone, it's still a touchback, right?
Yep.
So
if they punch it out,
if the 49 or I'm sorry, if Snead punched it out and it rolled into the end zone and the Ravens jumped on it,
I think it'd be a touchdown.
It's a touchdown.
Yeah.
If you reach for it and you fumble it, well, only if it fumbles out of bounds. If he punches it out and it fumbles out of the bounds,
touchback.
It's
Quite
touchback.
the conundrum.
Yeah.
Touchback, which makes no sense.
Which makes no sense.
If nobody gets it, it should go right back to
right
where the
back
fumble
to where it
occurred.
was. Yeah, that's how.
And I'm not sure if an offensive player recovered it, if it wouldn't have gone back, because I don't know if you can.
Because you can't advance a fumble inside the certain whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm gonna look that up. Let me get this exact rule.
Right, get to the
Uno, look that up.
Get the MIT kids to look it up.
Uno's
Ocho.
on it.
Let's go.
Yeah,
Young Griff.
Uno's on it.
All right, this is WBAL Radio, home of the Ravens. Jerry Sandusky, who, by the way, do you remember when all the other Jerry Sandusky stuff happened?
Yeah.
And I've met this one.
He's a great guy. His dad played for the Browns.
That's fantastic.
Yeah.
But I probably would have changed my name.
Yeah.
He didn't. He's held firm. Hall of Famer Rod Woodson on this one as well. So
by
wait
the
a
way,
second. Rod Woodson does radio for the Ravens?
Color
right next to
analyst
us.
for the Ravens.
Yeah.
Like he's on the All Steelers team.
Yeah.
All time. And he does Ravens.
I know.
Wow. That's wild to me.
It's very wild.
I guess I'd rather live in the Baltimore area than Pittsburgh, though. So maybe that's why. Here is the icing of the game. This is Mahomes with the pass to Valdez-Scantling.
Chiefs come to the line of scrimmage. It's at the Kansas City 46. 2:19 left to play. The 2-minute warning will stop the clock. That's it for the Ravens. They must stop Kansas City here because the Ravens are out of timeouts.
I just can't see them throwing the football.
Mahomes has Pacheco in the backfield. The Chiefs quarterback stands in the shotgun. He takes the snap. He wants to throw. Lobs it deep down the middle. He's got Valdez-Scantling wide open at the 20-yard line. He makes a falling catch, and that is going to do it. It will run us to the 2-minute warning, but the Ravens are out of timeouts, and this season is out of days.
All right, two things. Number one, Rod Woodson go, no, before the call was funny. Number two, and maybe from the radio booth it looked differently, but that was certainly not a wide open. It was like he was just standing out there footloose and fancy free, and it was over the defender, and he kind of had to make like kind of a leaping, tumbling, very good catch.
He was falling backwards as he made the catch. He landed on his butt.
Also, a tremendous amount of confidence in Mahomes for Valdez-Scantling, who's crushed him a lot this year. You know, come back to haunt him to give him a shot to make that play. I did what did he say? Clearly they're not going to pass it here or something like that.
Yeah.
Maybe you do. Maybe you
See,
do.
That's always like a tough because he's adding a player perspective. And so what he was saying is they got to keep it going. In my mind, in that situation, you're thinking, okay, they've got Mahomes. They're going to try to end this game right now. So my guess would have been they're going to throw it, but they're going to move the pocket and say if you can't, if there's nothing there, just slide. The yards are not as important as the time.
Yes. Yeah.
But the notion that they were not going to put the ball in Patrick Mahomes' hand there when you have a chance to end the game is yes, you are.
Yeah, he's going to have it. Yeah. Let's go to the NFC game. This is from KNBR, home of the Niners. This is Greg Papa
KNBR.
And Tim Ryan on the Brandon Ayuk catch off the Lions defensive back, and then his TD right after.
Purdy sends Kittle in motion right. Purdy out of the shotgun, drops a couple of steps, going to take a deep shot to Brandon Ayuk. It's deflected.
Oh, he caught it!
Caught! Ayuk caught it out of the air. A flag is also down. Did Ayuk score? He got touchdown on the 2-yard line.
That's going to be DPI and a deflection, and Brandon Ayuk never gave up on the football and came down with it at the 2 or 3 yard line.
Unbelievable play as Brock Purdy took a deep drop. And they went at Vildor. He overthrew him, but Vildor tipped the ball up in the air trying to intercept it. Ayuk, he got up and scored maybe.
That's a touchdown.
He got up before he was touched down. The ball went off the face mask of Vildor. Ayuk jumping through the air. He may have been touched by Vildor.
I think Vildor's hand hit his thigh pad.
The catch was made. Kittle and Jennings right. McCaffrey runs around Purdy. Pressured. Purdy throws. Caught by Brandon Ayuk. Touchdown! San Francisco! Ayuk is on fire!
That's great.
That's awesome.
That's awesome, man, at the end.
That's awesome. Ayuk is on fire. Greg Papa, obviously somebody that I was very familiar with growing up, and Tim Ryan. He used to do TV games.
Yeah,
for a long, long time. That was great.
I think he's a novelist, too. Isn't he, or is he is it?
I don't know.
Tim Ryan. There's a former NFL player who writes fiction, writes NFL. That might be Tim Green. I don't know. I think I may be getting him confused, but no, they were great.
Yeah, that was good.
The whole thing was great.
Do you guys want the fumble rule? For the fumbling
give me
into
the
the end
fumble
zone?
rule, yeah.
Gibby, are me and Jimmy gonna get a chant like that? The chief is on fire.
So anybody can recover it in the end zone unless it's under 2 minutes in either half or on fourth down. So if that was under 2 minutes and Zay Flowers fumbled it, he would have been the only person who could have picked it up in the end zone for a touchdown.
Got it.
But any other time in the game, anybody else can.
Anybody else?
Yeah, they're trying to eliminate the end where you're just like, Cameron's going to fumble
Chuck
the ball
it,
forward and you make something happen.
All right, here is this is again from KNBR. This is the Niners on the final call.
Christian McCaffrey's going to his first Super Bowl. Brock Purdy's going to his first Super Bowl. Just back up here, Brock. Take 1 or 2 steps back up, go down. It's over. The Niners are going to Vegas.
That's great. Like he's talking to Brock as if he's his child. Yeah, 1 or 2 steps here, Brock.
Go down. He was telling Greenlaw to go down last week.
He was.
Too.
Yeah, he was not having that.
He's like, yeah, just get down.
Greenlaw's like, I got the over, man.
Yeah.
I got to get me to 9.5 on this thing.
Oh, man.
All right, this now some post-game stuff. This is from CBS. This is Travis Kelce with Jim Nantz post-game. Nantz asking him about breaking Jerry Rice's record.
You became today, during this win, you became the all-time postseason leader in receptions in the playoffs. You moved past Jerry Rice. I know it was all about the win, but this was legendary stuff that happened out here today.
Shout out to Jerry Rice, baby. The Chiefs are still the Chiefs, and believe it. You gotta fight for your right to party!
Believe it, baby. We going to Las Vegas, Nevada, to go get us another one.
That was almost Playmaker.
Yeah,
Las Vegas,
Nevada, to get us another one.
That was very Playmaker.
Yeah, it was good. It was good.
Yeah,
Kelsey's
been listening to the show.
Yeah,
it's great.
That's one of those ones where you're so amped up that like they have reveled in this underdog road thing.
Yes,
it's all
it's
of them.
fun.
They're
It's
having
new.
the time of their life. They've never had this experience
never had
before.
it.
So, all right, this is the one that I mentioned. I'm glad you have this in here. This is Dan Campbell post game, kind of just the realization of how tough this is to get to this point and how close they were.
Tell those guys, this may have been all we shot. Do I think that? No. Do I believe that? No. However, I know how hard it is to get here. I'm well aware, and it's going to be twice as hard to get back to this point next year than it was this year. That's the reality.
Yeah, his whole press conference was, I just appreciated the hell out of it because it was so honest, emotional. He talked about the fourth down stuff, and he gets it, and I can second guess it and all of that. Like, but it was human. Like, he wasn't a robot. It wasn't contrived. He is what you think he is.
Yeah, he's real, and I think this will be a good period of evaluation of maybe some of the decisions, or maybe they'll say, you know what, that's who we are. This is what we do, and it got us here. And he's feeling pretty good about
it. Yeah. If we are to get there, Deshaun Watson will have to be very, very good next season. He was on the Lockerverse podcast. We'll have some of that for you coming up next. You're listening to Cleveland Browns Daily on 850 ESPN Cleveland. Elk & Elk, serious lawyers, serious injuries. Call 1-800-ELK, Ohio for a free case review. Elk & Elk's proud partner of your Cleveland Browns. Our quarterback on his podcast, Deshaun Watson, saying he would love to bring fellow Clemson Tiger T. Higgins into town this offseason. Here's Deshaun, courtesy of the Lockerverse podcast on T. Higgins.
Cleveland Browns should go ahead and grab my dog T.
Hey, T.
Hello.
T. What's up with us, man? We was over here. I know you was down the road with family ties. You know, AB, we want to pass the ball. You know what I'm saying? So like, you know, that's what we're gonna do. We're gonna pass it a lot. You know what I'm saying? To Chubb and Ford.
You ain't gotta leave the state.
And we're gonna take good care of you. The Cleveland fans gonna love you. They're gonna love you to death. And we got the Clemson ties. We didn't get to play with each other, but this is our opportunity. So like, man, come on over to the land, man.
I like it.
I'm not a fan. I'm certainly for it. All you can. Money wise, I don't know how, because I think T's going to get a lot.
Listen, we're going to restructure. We're going to be able to clear up plenty of space. I just don't. Everything, and you probably know about this a little bit more because you talk more Bengals elsewhere.
Yeah.
But isn't the sense from everybody's they're going to tag and trade him, and I don't see that trade happening in our division.
That's everything I hear. And anytime you talk to people down there, they live in some fantasy world where somehow they're going to be able to keep him.
Yeah, I don't think so.
I don't see how that you could have that much committed unless it was very because they don't have to pay Chase yet, but that'll be after next year. They'll have to pay him. So, like, I don't know. I don't know how they do it. I know that they were still optimistic that they could somehow do it and that Burrow's extension allowed for that somehow. But I don't – to me, it seems like you to then would have a quarterback and two receivers getting 40% of your payroll, maybe more.
Yeah.
If you paid him market value. So unless he's going to, like, just do you a favor, which I don't think you can do at that point in your career.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's no – I mean, I was trying to look, and I've seen a lot of talk about DK Metcalf. I just don't see how people think that's a thing.
That DK could end up here?
Yeah. He is not a free agent until 2026. Signed a 3-year, $72 million contract with $30 million signing bonus, $58 million guaranteed. In 2024, he's got a dead cap value of $23 million. So I just don't see how they would do that.
Yeah, we got to be realistic, kids.
Yeah.
As we get into the offseason. More importantly, here is Deshaun Watson on his shoulder and how rehab is going.
9 weeks from post-surgery, so, I mean, everything's going smooth. We right on track, a little bit ahead, so they got to, kind of slow me down and make sure I'm doing everything, the proper way, and we take it one day at a time.
There you go. Look forward to seeing him here this spring.
Yeah. I'm excited to see him back here throw and see what this offense looks like with some of the reported changes coming on that side of the ball, and that's what it's all about. I mean, I think our defense is going to be excellent. We obviously proved that we can win. We're going to play a much more challenging schedule this year.
Mm-hmm.
And, we're going to need our quarterback. That's the key. Look at the teams that are there. That's what
in the AFC,
yes,
you have no choice.
Yes.
You just don't. I mean, the Final Four were Stroud, Lamar, Mahomes, Allen.
Yeah. That's right.
Burrow's going to come back next year healthy. Aaron Rodgers is going to come back healthy. Deshaun's going to come back healthy. I can't imagine Pittsburgh standing pat. I know they're saying that they are, but I can't imagine that they're just going to be like, yeah, let's roll this back.
No.
That operation. I just don't think they're dumb enough. They're just too smart to do that. So, yeah, that's issue 1 through 10 of importance is that one. Brownie Awards. Is this it? This is the unveiling. Is this the first Brownie Awards? We've not done this.
No.
This is the first Brownie Award, so we're going to explain it. We're going to get started on it coming up next. Listen to Cleveland Browns Daily, brought to you by Bally Bet, sports betting partner of your Cleveland Browns, now live in Ohio on 850 ESPN Cleveland. If your game plan for this season includes buying or selling a home, Howard Hanna has the answer, delivering a winning strategy for breaking down the game of real estate. As the market leaders in Northeast Ohio, more buyers and sellers trust Howard Hanna to be the home winning team. Visit howardhanna.com/Go Browns today. All right, here is the objective, should you choose to accept it, the mission, if you will. We are announcing, do we have the music leads me to believe, do we have an open, or did that?
No,
I
it's just
hear
a little
like
music bed underneath, a little
emotional
awards music underneath.
I like it. Emotional awards music. Good
Kevin
job.
coming through.
Out of Kevin, all involved. All right, this is the CBD Brownie Awards. There's so many ways
Let's
you can
go.
read that.
Very many.
I love that. That's fantastic.
This should be sponsored,
This
and I know
really
who the
should be.
sponsor should be.
Mr. Dog?
No, I think they sponsor our 2-point conversion attempts.
Oh, there you go. Yeah, they should. That's exactly right.
Yep.
Get that locked in. All right, we start. We're going to pick the 4 best wins of the season to be our top 4 seeds. So these are our 4 favorite wins.
So basically what we're
Right?
doing this week,
And we're going to let the fans
with,
decide.
with the people's help, because we're going to do
We
it
like the people.
on the Twitter
help.
poll.
Yep.
We're going to take the top 9 games from this season.
All right.
We're going to put them into a bracket, and we're going to let the fans determine the best game of the year.
I love it.
Okay.
I love
We're gonna kind of steer you in certain directions,
Sure.
in terms of being able to pick the top 4.
Yep.
And
And
then from there, we'll give you our insights on each game, and
I like it.
it'll be up to the people.
So I think the easy 1 seed is the Jets game.
Okay, that's what I had.
I mean, that had it all.
Had it all. Magic, beautiful, incredible. Yep.
You had the voice,
Yep.
the brilliance,
An
the
electric
Flacco, the night, all of it. It is interesting, isn't it, that the 2 of the more memorable nights involved the Jets in memorable games in the last 6 years involved
Cleveland.
the Jets in Cleveland at night.
Yeah.
Beer fridges,
Beer fridges in that one. Yeah,
playoff clinches,
that was awesome. That's the easy one.
Herb
for
Street's
me.
dog.
Oh, that's right. The dog
Yeah,
was
the
in the
dog
mix.
was there.
He was in the
Craziness.
mix. Yeah.
All right, so I agree with
That's
that.
my clear
what I
number
won.
1.
Yep.
So I went first on that one. What's your number 2?
My number 2 was Ravens Week 10, 33-31. The comeback down 14. You beat the eventual number 1 seed in the AFC. Watson was 14 of 14 in the fourth quarter, and that was the one where you're like, we could be something special.
It's hard to separate that from what we found out Tuesday the next day. So I'm trying to transport myself back into the moment of that Sunday, and that was monstrous.
Coming out of that game, it was we're winning Super Bowl.
Let's go.
Yes.
Let's go.
Yeah.
Because he was bad in the first half. Not bad, but he was at the first half. There were times when I was like, "Oh my gosh, like what is going on?" And then it flipped, and he was spectacular in the second half. You beat Baltimore here. The comeback, as you alluded to, and you're right. When you and I did the show on Monday, because it wasn't until Tuesday, right?
We found out on Wednesday morning.
Wednesday morning. So the shows we did Monday and Tuesday
Check your email.
were from the vantage. Oh God.
Don't ever
We're
say
from
that
the
again.
from the perspective of okay, let's go.
Yes.
All is possible,
Yes.
despite the loss of Chubb and Conklin. Like all is possible at that moment.
Yep.
So, that was my clear second as well. That was my clear second as well on the list. Number 3 for me is Bengals Week 1.
That's what I had as number 3.
Did you really?
Yeah.
I
I numbered mine already.
I haven't. I don't want to look because I don't want to see.
All right, well, that's what that is 3.
I go Bengals Week 1 as mine.
Season opener, home opener.
Health.
Dominant defense.
Yeah.
Weather was gross, but, Deshaun, found a way and
Burrow was,
had a
Burrow
running
was so
touchdown.
disinterested in being
Miles
there.
doing crossovers.
Yeah,
Miles
cross. That's right.
Miles sack where at the end where he's like, oh, and you got that great picture. Yeah, that was – I agree.
You
that was,
broke Cincinnati.
Yes.
Burrow was not interested in being there whatsoever. You still had Nick Chubb at that point. So it was all things possible. You just – it wasn't as clean as you wanted it to be offensively, but the weather was garbage. You were absolutely a
Sure,
team
did
that
enough.
could go win the Super Bowl. You won 24-3 against a team that going into this year felt like it was a Super Bowl contender, which is what Cincinnati did. You dominated them, and you still had Nick, and you said all things are possible, and away you go. So that was the clear number 3 for me.
Okay.
Was that one.
Interesting. I didn't have that on your. I didn't think you guys would have that in your top 4.
I'm trying to put this back to
The moment, the time,
that
the
it
feel.
happened.
Yeah.
Not the knowledge of everything that happened after.
Gotcha.
Is where that is. So you and I had the same 1, 2, 3 in order, without any previous conversation, without thinking about this until
right now. Yeah.
We had the same 1, 2, 3 in order.
Yeah.
Okay. Very good. You're number 4.
Based on looking over there, we do not have.
I think we could be different here because I see you're over here looking. I haven't looked and seen what you have.
I have Steelers Week 11, 13-10. So you have Donovan's return, smash the guitar.
We were at that game. That's Bootsy meeting Chomps.
Chubb walks out in the tunnel. It's the Steelers, and the Steelers' record was great. This was a huge game. You just found out you lost to Sean on Wednesday. DTR's got to start, and then DTR leads a game-winning drive to set up a D-Hop walk-off game-winning field goal. Like, what more do you? I thought it was Steelers, Donovan, DTR gets it done. We're back. Like, it went from the season is over to we are back, and this was awesome.
Yeah.
All right. So,
and that's D-Hop. D-Hop missed the field goal.
So I'm just going to do this. I'm pretty sure it's clean. This is the game we went to with the boys.
Yep.
This is Bootsy, the long-awaited Chomps, Bootsy in hold.
Yeah, on the sidelines.
All
right?
of that happened, and then this is Bootsy in the stands. Wait, hold on. I got to get this. You got to hear this. It's unbelievable. So this is as it's going. I'm just pulling this up now.
See,
Steelers suck.
Come on, how's
well
that?
done, kid.
Yeah.
It was an electric atmosphere.
Yes,
it's funny because, we do so many games. There's so many games, and I'm paying attention on the college side of things too. So like the individual moments of where you were at that time, that would have been our 3rd straight win. I forgot about the component of no Deshaun. So that was always a game we were going to, but I didn't know
96 hours removed from that.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it was like, gosh, can this kid just do enough? And he did. I just wanted to pull up that box score because it was, oh, my God, yeah. We really couldn't run it. I mean, he threw it 43 times.
Yeah.
DTR did in that game.
And led
for 165, 3.8. It was just like survive.
He led the drive, though.
And led the drive. That did it. Elijah 6 for 60 in that game. Amari just 4 for 34. Absolutely wild. We were also sitting right. Miles had 2 sacks, sitting right next to T.J. Watt's wife.
Right,
was right there with us in that one. So that wasn't initially my 4th.
Yeah,
but I had forgot all of the circumstances. When you see it chronologically and you remember it comes after Watson, you're heartbroken.
Yes,
right. You're heartbroken with the Watson injury, and it's like, God, the season's lost. You come out of that win, you're 7-3. You're 7-3. You go, God, maybe the defense is good enough that we can do this. So my 4 initially was going to be Flacco at Houston because it was just pure joy. It was like Flacco personified, like bombs over Baghdad. It's like, holy cow, how much fun is this?
Amari sets the record.
Amari sets the record in that game. Wasn't that also on Christmas
Eve?
Christmas Eve.
Right. So, like, I remember the whole family watching it and everybody watching it. It was like, let's go. Let's get the record. Like, let's pour it on. So initially that was my 4. I certainly hear your argument for the Pittsburgh one because of all of the other factors, and it's probably the right number 4. But in terms of as much fun as I've had, like as a group of people not at a game watching, that was close to the top of the list. To be with like Amy's whole family and everybody watching it and going, my God, we're Flacco's ridiculous. We're really great.
Yeah, the only thing that was for me, and I have that game much, much, much lower.
Yeah,
it's probably because it was Christmas Eve and I was in Houston. But they started Case Keenum.
Yeah,
like they were hapless.
They were.
It was just a beating. I mean, it was awesome. Don't get me wrong. I thought it was awesome, but I had that a little bit farther down the list.
It was just that was such a fun. It's funny, like you view it for the way of like your experience watching it, and that was the way that I did.
By the way, you mentioned Houston. Was with a couple buddies last night. One of them is a fan of the team up north. He's from up there.
Yeah.
He went to the national championship game. He goes, "Hey, why didn't you tell me that Houston sucks as a city?" And I was like, "Yeah, I know. It's awful."
Does it? So I've only flown through it. I've never really spent time in Houston. Is it just that it's so big and so spread out?
It's big, spread out. Yeah.
I think that's most of it. He's like, the stadium's in the middle of nowhere. He goes, we're trying to find a bar to go to. Like,
yeah, stadium's in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah, you walk into a bar, there'd be 4 people in there. You'd go like 2 blocks down, and it would be standing room only and a line out the door. He's like, there was no rhyme or reason for anything in that city.
Yeah.
So which one are we settling on?
I'm
shocked
fine
that
with
the 49er game's not one of your top 4.
That's number 5 for me.
It would have been, yeah, that's fine. I am fine with Pittsburgh being 4 because then I had all of the memories of it. I thought the Texan one was a lot of fun. That was a lot of fun.
It was
the
fun.
other thing about the Texans one is, to me, it opened up like, maybe Flacco's good enough that we can win the damn Super Bowl with him. And some of these other ones, like coming out of Pittsburgh, I wasn't like, let's go win the Super Bowl.
No.
And coming out of San Francisco, I wasn't like, let's go win the Super Bowl. Coming out of India, I wasn't go, let's go win the Super Bowl. The Flacco component, because he was so good and so dominant, and Amari was so dominant. And obviously that they were starting Keenum and all of that, I remember obviously well, but like you just shredded them. You just got whatever you wanted on their defense.
Yes. And it was kind of the culmination of that run of the Jags, the Bears, and the Texans. And you had that 3-game stretch. I thought the Jags and Bears games, were maybe it was because it's home. The stakes felt very big at that time. The Jags were considered a great team at that time. And then they didn't even make the playoffs. I mean, they're all good.
Yeah.
That's the thing is the Niners game is the most improbable win of the year. The Colts game is one of the wildest and craziest games ever.
Yeah.
You know, the Jags game was a good game. The Bears game was a good game. And the comeback, come back down from 17. I think we were down, 17-7, and came all the way back and won.
Yeah.
There's a lot. They're all good.
So how many of these do we have to pick?
So
we need like
the thought was, okay, so those are the 4 games that we'll put up.
Yeah.
The fans can vote at Browns_Daily, and then based on how those results come out, that's how those 4 games will be seeded.
Okay.
Oh.
So we're looking now for seeds 5 through 9, which leaves out 2 wins, but that's how this goes.
I think you can leave out Titans week 3.
I'm fine with that.
And they were
That's
supposed to
what
be good, though. That
We
was like still
originally had
Tannehill.
that.
You
off.
and I didn't
That's
really
just a
buy
beating.
it, though. We
No,
didn't
I
really
didn't
buy
buy
them. And I could leave out the Cardinals game.
Yep.
as
We
the
did
other-
that for
as
both
the
of
other,
those.
as the other 2 that I would leave out. Those are they were just really comfortable wins. It was just like we're just better than them, and
Yes.
and that was it.
Those are 2 excellent Deshaun games, too.
Yeah.
So who would you have at number 5 then?
Niners for me.
I would probably want a Flacco one because I thought, to me, I guess that my head being the standpoint of like he was playing so well and
He's
it was
number
so
1.
explosive. Yeah, for sure. But like the Niners game was awesome, but I didn't think anything was as we were playing right there. I didn't think you'd be I didn't know if you could be a playoff team playing that way. And Flacco, the way he played, made you think of that more was possible. The hope was bigger. But I'm fine with it. Like you were at them all. Your votes are worth 2.
All right. So Cleveland, San Fran, number
Just
5.
because it's so improbable. Nobody expected us to win that game.
Yeah.
No one.
No.
Now, I'm fine. You want to do Houston Christmas Eve as the number 6?
I think one of the Flacco,
Or Jacksonville?
I think the Houston one you have to remember, and I know your guys' situation is you're in Houston, but for like many Cleveland people, it's Christmas Eve, and you're going, oh God, like come on,
This is a big game.
Give us a lot to cheer for on Christmas. You're having Christmas Eve dinner with family. Like my guess is certainly every television in this town has always turned to this, but this you were gathered probably with large groups. I would imagine the experience was similar to the one I had in many living rooms.
I don't think my dad and I have ever been that comfortable watching a Browns game.
Just fun. It was just fun.
We were just having fun on
was a
Christmas
blast.
Eve.
Yeah,
like
it was a
it was
blast.
just a great time the whole time.
Yeah.
So
and
put
Amari
it-
chasing it was fun.
I'm putting Houston down at number 6.
Okay.
Number 7.
Colts, just because it was insane. Miles jumps over the line, blocks
Yeah,
a
he
kick.
did that. No, we'd never seen
sack
anything like
strip
that.
fumble in the end zone for a touchdown.
I'm fine with that.
He was, and just the fact that won it on 4th down, Kareem runs it in. It's crazy.
Yeah, that was nuts.
So that leaves Bears and Jags to round it out. And
Well, they'd be the
that'll be
8-9
our
anyway.
play-in game tomorrow.
Yeah, those are
good
that
games.
doesn't matter. They're both great games, but they're either one. That really doesn't matter because they play each other, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So
I'll put the
that's fine.
Jags
Put
at
those
number
at
8.
That's fine. Jags at 8, Bears at 9.
The Bears one, though, had the throw to Amari and the comeback.
They're both good.
I mean, they're all good.
Yeah, a lot of good wins. It was a fun year, man.
So tomorrow, again, we'll do the play-in game, 8-9. Coming up in about 10 minutes, we'll get the poll up and running. People can pick the top 4 games.
Yeah.
We'll seed them appropriately.
I like it.
Quarters on Wednesday, semis Thursday, finals Friday.
I like where your head's at, Gibby. And the boys. Gibby and the boys. Good job. So much more to come. You're listening to Cleveland Browns Daily on 850 ESPN Cleveland. Back in. All right, so what's the name of the show?
Griselda.
Griselda. All right. Because I think I told you, like, I watched a couple of I'm like, I can't do The Crown. I can't do it.
No.
The bad stuff happened. I don't.
This is good. It's fast though, man. It's like I said, it's only 6 episodes.
I wonder if she was too big of a star, or maybe she didn't want to commit to like series after series after series because she's already done that and she made so much money on Modern Family that she's like, I'll do this for a little bit, but because it easily could have been 20 episodes.
It should have been. That's my complaint with it, is that I needed more and I wanted like
1 minute,
a little bit. Well, you'll see when you kind of get kind of what's the inspiration, but her backstory seems like she was calling shots for a long time before, and I would have loved to have seen that and seen her evolution into who and what she became.
Yeah.
It's good though.
Don't skip the origin story, man.
No, and then don't yada yada with the peak. Like, let's
fun.
see what the fun is. The 3 years where like they're just living these outrageous lives in Miami. Like
That's
they just,
what we wanted.
30.
Right. That's part of the fun of it.
It is. All right, the next level's coming up next. Thanks for listening, everybody. Cleveland Browns Daily, 850 ESPN Cleveland.